Hey everybody, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the F-14B pilot cockpit. This will be a first look at all of the consoles and panels and the controls within them, and we'll go over them in detail so you can familiarize yourself with the layout of the cockpit. So at a high level, there are 12 different areas within the pilot cockpit. Starting left to right, we have the left side console. Next we have the left vertical console. Then we have the left knee panel. We have the left instrument panel, the left windshield frame. Then we have the center panel, the right windshield frame, the right instrument panel, the right knee panel, the right vertical panel, the right side console, and last but not least, the canopy control handle. Moving back over to the left side console, we have the G valve button. This is pressed to test the inflation of the G suit. Next we have the oxygen vent airflow control panel. This controls the ventilation airflow to the pressure suit or seat cushion, and also the oxygen to the pilot mask. To the left of that, we have the volume TACAN control panel. This panel contains the volume for the pilot headset for various things like the ALR67, the Sidewinder audio tone, the AN-ARC 182 radio, and it also controls which crew member has control over the TACAN. Forward right of this, we have the TACAN control panel. This allows the pilot to set the TACAN channel, switch to various modes, and control volume. To the left of this, we have the ICS control panel. This controls the various volumes, amplification, and hot-cold mic overrides used when communicating with your RIO. In front of that, we have the AFCS control panel. This is the automatic flight control system, or autopilot if you will. This allows us to set the heading hold, altitude hold, as well as enabling and disabling our pitch, roll, and yaw stability augmentation. To the right of this, we have our AN-ARC 159, or UHF-1 radio. To the left of the throttle, we have our ASIM limiter and engine mode select. This controls our asymmetric thrust limit system and control mode for respective engines. Hidden on the inside of the wall here, we have our target designate switch. This is used to designate ground targets on the HUD and control ACM radar modes except for PLM, or pilot lock-on mode. Down from that, we have our inlet ramps and throttle control panel. This controls the various engine systems, throttle settings, and rudder trim. Right of that, we have our throttle quadrant. This obviously contains the throttle, but also the flaps and the manual wing sweep handle. In front of this, we have the left vertical console. And at the bottom of this, we have the fuel management panel. This panel controls various fuel-related systems, along with the central air data computer master reset, the anti-skid system, and also contains the control system position indicator. To the left of this, we have the launch bar abort panel. Above the fuel management panel, we have the landing gear control panel. This panel is used to manage the landing gear and emergency store jettison. Above this, we have the wheels and flaps position indicator. And to the left of that, we have the emergency store jettison button. Now we move over to the left knee panel. Starting at the bottom left, we have the hydraulic pressure indicator. Above that, we have our oil pressure indicator. And above that, we have our engine nozzle position indicators. To the right of this, we have our engine instrument group. This displays the engine RPM, EGT, and fuel flow for each of the engines. Next, we have our left instrument panel. Starting at the bottom left, we have our radar altimeter. To the right of that, we have our servo-pneumatic altimeter. Above that, our airspeed Mach indicator. And to the left, our vertical velocity indicator. Above this, we also have our left engine fuel shutoff handle. To the right of the left engine fuel shutoff handle, we have our angle of attack indicator. If we come above that, we have our left windshield frame. Here we can find our approach indexer. And to the right of that, we have our caution lights for wheel warnings, brake warnings, ACLS, autopilot cautions, AP caution, nose wheel engage caution, and auto throttle caution light. If we move over to the center panel, we have our heads-up display, our cockpit television sensor, our Air Combat Maneuvering Panel, or ACM panel. This is the main panel for the armaments for the pilot. It allows us to switch to ACM mode, change our gun rate, Sidewinder cooling, missile prep, controls our master arm, change missile mode, shows our station status flags, along with master caution light and button, left and right fire lights, and our turn slip indicator. Below that, we have our VDI, or vertical display indicator. This display complements the HUD and displays flight and weapons data. To the left and right of the VDI, we have our data link warning and caution lights. Below this, we have our HSD, or horizontal situation display indicator. The HSD is used to display navigational information to the pilot. It can also be used to repeat the RIO's TID, or tactical information display, to the pilot. Down below this, in front of the stick, we have the cabin pressure altimeter, and to the right of that, our emergency brake pressure indicator. Moving back up to the right side of the HUD, we have our right windshield frame. This contains our ECM warning lights and our standby compass. Moving to the right instrument panel, at the top we have our wing sweep indicator. The leftmost indicator pointer shows the wing sweep program position, which is also the max forward angle at present airspeed and altitude. The middle tape is the commanded wing sweep position. The rightmost tape is the actual wing sweep position, and the 5 indicator windows show the current operating mode. To the right of this, we have our right engine fuel shutoff handle. Below it, our standby attitude indicator. To the right are UHF, VHF remote indicators. These remote indicators display set frequency and channel of the UHF and VHF radios. To the bottom left, we have our bearing distance heading indicator. To the right of that, we have our ALR 67 indicator, or RWR, and one more step to the right, we have our canopy jettison handle. Now moving down to the right knee panel. To the left, we have our fuel quantity indicator. At the top, we have our set bingo readout. Under that, our total counter. We have our left and right counters. And then we have our fuselage and feed tapes. To the top right, we have our accelerometer. And below that, our clock. Moving over to the right vertical console. At the top, we have our arresting hook panel. And on the right side of this panel, we have our gun rounds remaining indicator. Below this, we have our displays control panel. This allows us to set different modes on the HUD, change our steer points, turn on and off power to our VDI, HUD, and HSD, and switch to various modes on our VDI and HSD as well. Down below the displays control panel, we have our elevation lead panel. This is used to set gun elevation lead in mils for the manual air-to-air and air-to-ground gun modes. If we move over to our right side console, at the top left we have our spoiler failure override. To the bottom right of this we have our compass control panel. Below this we have our ARA 63 control panel. This is our ILS system. Left of this we have our caution advisory indicator. Below that our master generator control panel. To the right of that our master light control panel. Bottom left of this our air conditioning control panel, to be used on those hot summer days after playing volleyball at the beach. Bottom right to this, our master test panel. This panel is used to control OBC and various other onboard bits, in addition to the emergency flight hydraulic setting. To the left of this, we have our environmental external control panel. This is used for windshield air and external ice settings. Bottom right to this, we have our HUD video control panel. And all the way to the bottom right, we have our canopy defog and cabin air lever. Last but not least, we have our handle control system. This is where you'll find buttons to open and close the canopy. And that's about it for our F-14B pilot cockpit tour. Hopefully you can use this as reference to get yourself familiar with the pilot seat, as we'll be referencing a lot of these areas in future videos. So stay tuned, and in the next episode we'll showcase some new and exciting features as we demonstrate how to do a cold startup in the F-14 Tomcat. See you guys next time.